Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching us from. As you can see, there's myself and a chair. Mighty Wins just had to disappear and just answer the door. He's had a new boiler, and people have come just as we start the show to collect all the rubbish. So he's away dealing with that. But before we go on to today's show, it's going to be an interesting topic. This so love to get your guys' interpretation of what's gone on in at Man City. So before we go into all that, let's do all the housework while we've got chance and we're still waiting for the man to come back into his hot seat. Welcome to all those watching across all of the platforms. Thanks to all the mods in the background, doing a great job as always. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoy the show. Just helps us get further as a channel to other supporters. Subscribe, it's totally free. Hit the bell for future content. We do 7 days a week, mainly live shows with the odd recorded. But again, if you hit the bell, you'll get a notification as soon as that comes forward. If you want to help us, you can become a member. It's a small monthly fee. Different levels of membership available regarding the type of content you want to watch. But like I say, anything that you give us towards that monthly fee as a membership helps us massively to continue with the show. And obviously, you've got a massive chance of winning a prize at the end of the month. And we've got a couple of prizes to give away. I think it's 3 prizes to give away as we've missed April's and obviously the end of March's. So we've got a couple to give away. If you've got a question as we go through the show, put a Q in front of it. It's not guaranteed. But obviously, if you want to guarantee, you can send us a super chat. Use the $, follow the instructions. And obviously, you can have a look at our webpage, NUFCtalk.tv, for any news and content as we get it. We'll put it on there. Totally ad-free, like I say. So if you've got 5 minutes, throw it on. And anybody that becomes a member during the show or any of our lovely members that want to gift memberships will be highlighted and thanked. And he's back. The man, the myth, the legend is back in the hot seat.
Good afternoon, everybody.
How are you doing? Is it all sorted?
Well. We're all done. We've had 2 days total mayhem in here. Well, I've been getting a new central heating boiler fitted. And that's just the very last of it done. The guys just come to take away all the waste.
Cool.
So there you go.
Ronnie Turnbull's in the chat straight away.
Ronnie Turnbull, what happened to your scores?
Well, he's saying 4-1, 2 win, please. So I gather that's for the United game.
Well, I assume so, because you missed.
As it's a bit late for the Leicester game.
A bit late for the Leicester game, yeah.
Welcome anyway, guys. Mason's in the chat. Ron, like I say, Colton's in the chat. So again, welcome one and all. Just again, going on to today's show, the input on this is again, it's going to be it's a hypothetical question, if I'm honest with you. We've got a little bit of news coming out of the usual sources linking us with certain players. So we'll have a quick look at that at the end of the show, as well as updates on injuries if we've got them and things like that. So, like I say, we'll take it as far as we can. But the context of today's show is there was a report go out in the Mail, and it was the controversial ticket resale site. At next home game, the supporters are told to boycott the first 9 minutes. Now, we were just talking in the background, and apparently 9 stands for the amount of third-party ticketing partners that Man City use. I mean, like I say, I've just had a quick glimpse at the Newcastle Man U game, and the amount of tickets available across many sites is amazing to see. But the question is,
I've literally 5 minutes ago went on just Google tickets for Man U, and and I've stuck it in the boardroom. That was literally 14:02, and there's tickets available for Newcastle United, Man United. How many tickets would you like? 1 to 5. You can have them seated together if you want. and ticket prices from $79.97, which is obviously double the face value, for want of a better expression.
Yeah, them will be in the gods, most of them, to be fair, the cheaper ones.
Yeah, and anything up to £500, which will be the corporate, presumably. But they're offering tickets together. They're offering pick your own spot in the ground, giving you a choice of ground. You can pick your seats. So I want to know where they're getting these tickets from. Because if these tickets are coming from season ticket holders, the season ticket holders should be booted out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just before we go any further, Ron's saying that he gave you the 3-0 Toon win days before the Leicester game. So it's something we need to. Ron, where did you put it, buddy?
Where did you post it? Because we'll be able to check on any posts you did.
So give us the idea where you sent it, mate. Because the problem is now we have got so many ways of getting in touch with either Win or Chris. We are all under, like I say, it's just getting so many different avenues to put the scores in now. So again, I'm just going to put on the screen a little picture of the empty seats at Man City versus Leicester, and again, without going verbatim what they're saying is, I mean, they talk about one Real Madrid supporter was seen receiving a haircut in the stands on the night the Champions League knockout match, while Liverpool fan was attacked at the home end in their 2-0 win in February. And we were just talking there, and we said, if I was a Man U fan, as we've got that next game coming, and I've got a group of 15 or 20 people that want to just come and create a little bit of mayhem. I can go, yes, I'm paying an extortionate price for these tickets. I can go to a site, I can get up to 20 tickets, sit in and amongst all the Newcastle fans and create absolute bedlam. Now, for me, the question that I wanted to ask yourself, Win, and the audience is it spoiling the atmosphere at grounds now? Because obviously these tickets are being given either via the club, as Man City are, because they've utilised these nine external third party to give their tickets to. But the reasons why they boycotted the Leicester game was because now they've actually gone hand in hand, because they've gone to and again, I'll read the sentence. The Premier League champions have been heavily criticised for signing an official club partnership deal with third-party ticket agency via GoGo towards the end of season, and has been pockmarked by unrest from home fans. And it's saying about fans, home fans are, one, frightened because they don't know, a lot of the time, they don't know the person sat next to them, because these seats apparently are available all the time, and it's not the same faces, obviously, that keep getting these seats. There's, as we've seen now on a lot of social media, we've seen, and I believe it was a Newcastle game versus Arsenal, where there was an Arsenal fan that was set about by a few Newcastle fans because of when we scored. Obviously, we celebrated, and this said person didn't like the fact that the lads around him was celebrating, and it caused a little bit of a fracas in the Gallagher end. So, like I say, is it the fact now that this is spoiling the atmosphere? If I can't trust the person next to me is a fan, and I haven't got a clue what's going on now, because, like I say, if a fan, as you've just read out, can bring in hedge trimmers to cut somebody's hair, and it wasn't a hedge trimmer, obviously, I'll call it a hedge trimmer, a head shaver, to trim somebody's hair during a game, who's checking? I mean, I've been to many Newcastle game. You go weekly when they're at home. We never get searched.
Well, listen, you can't get in without a ticket.
Nobody's getting searched. That's what I'm saying. But nobody's getting searched, Win. Right? You don't get searched. So if I'm a fan of the opposition club, I can walk through them turnstiles at the home ground, covering up if I ain't showing any colours, or I could come completely, in clothing, everyday clothing, and I could be carrying a weapon. I think the clubs really need to start looking at the way they sell third-party tickets, or get behind people, if you say season ticket holders, that are giving their tickets up to third-party companies, and there's a massive safety issue here. And that's what worries me. It's more yes, it's going to impact on the everyday. Well, I mean, there was a statement given to the Mail by whoever led this campaign, this protest, saying that the people that didn't go to the seats, it shows a lot of support against what the club's doing for them 9 minutes. Now, for me, I don't think it does, because they've already sold the tickets. If you stand in the in the outside the foyer type of area, just not watching the game, you've still bought a ticket. You're still a season ticket holder. It's not really impacting the club financially. It may impact the team because you've lost that noise, you've lost that crowd, but it's not actually doing anything to the club per se, is it?
Right. Well, first of all, in terms of these, I mean, we've still got to be honest and say it's a handful of tickets in comparison to the overall crowd. I'm pretty convinced 95% of the crowd are genuine Newcastle supporters. So the odd 200 or 300 seats that go exorbitantly via ticket agencies, I don't see that affecting the atmosphere at all. As regards safety, if 5 or 6 or even a dozen ne'er-do-wells from the opposition go to create mayhem, as you put it, good luck to them. They might do a bit of damage. They might do a little bit of damage initially, but they wouldn't last long.
Oh no, I was saying they would last long.
And but I'm not advocating mob rule or anything. Although if I was there, I'd probably be joining in. But if I think we're in this super duper safety conscious world where everything you do, you cannot cater. You can't control everyone's behaviour purely to cater for the nutters. Once you go down that road, everyone just loses all their freedom. And that tends to be the road down which a lot of the, we're getting into politics here, but all the, the globalistic things that are going on. That's where they want us controlled, and they use our safety as a reason for controlling us. Never greater than during COVID kind of thing. Mm. So I just think, you when you walk out the door and cross the road to catch a bus, you're taking a chance. There might be a lunatic driver on the road, speeding down the road, who's going to knock you over. But does that mean you stay in the house all day long?
Well, I mean, that's cool. I appreciate that. But when I want to go to a football match and I take my family with me, and again, this is where I look at. I don't look at me individually. I look at people that take the families, mums, dads, sometimes grandparents, and the kids. They go as a family unit. Again, is it safe for these people to go and enjoy and relax? Because that's what we go to the football match to do, isn't it? We relax. It's part of our weekend's fun and social side.
And the club are spending vast amounts of money every match on stewarding, on policing, to make sure that safety is maintained.
Yeah. So, okay, then you've just hit the nail on my next question. You're saying that the clubs put down a lot of security regarding stewarding and everything else. So why are we still seeing a lot of scuffles from opposition fans in the wrong area of the park?
Well, I don't see them.
Well, like I say, I've seen. Well, I know you don't use X, but if you use X a lot of the times, there's lots on there from the away fans that obviously film it.
Well, all I can say is I go to every match, as you know, and I can count on one hand in, since the bad old days, since the 70s, 80s.
Yeah, when it was rife.
When it was epidemic.
Yeah.
And then the fences went up and everything, and more control. But anyway, I've never seen a scuffle or the nearest I've seen to scuffles is between Newcastle fans arguing
amongst themselves. Yeah. I mean, you're always going to get that, and I appreciate.
It didn't get. There are famous reports of the Emirates when you had the two massive factions, virtually 50-50 there, Wenger in, Wenger out, and there was every match day there was battles between the Wenger ins and the Wenger outs. And I think Real Madrid's probably put the Arteta out on the back burner for a little while. But, But that, according to a lot of the Arsenal chat, that's flaring again. And it, I still don't believe that the Eddie in Eddie out debate, which was raging on social media, was reflected in the ground at all, because everybody I knew in the ground was firmly Eddie in. But there was a possibility of that escalating. But I don't say that that's got anything to do with, the potential for opposing fans to get tickets via ticketing website. My beef about ticketing websites is that it's meaning Newcastle fans are having to pay more than they should be paying.
Yeah.
If they can sell 500 tickets to a ticketing agency, why not sell 500 more season tickets? That's my argument. And if these tickets that these websites are getting are coming from the club, then that needs to be investigated and needs to be stopped.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I've just put
and worse again, if they're coming from season ticket holders who are flogging them on, instead of, as they are supposed to do, return them to the club to be resold or put in the ballot, then the season ticket holders concerned need to be called to task.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, it was a question. I mean, like I say, you're never gonna police this perfectly, because it's just far too easy, like I say, for people to actually get into the grounds now, because of these third parties. Now, I also understand that certain clubs will probably utilise the lack of support, and I'm gonna say that the lack of support, because not every fan is a season ticket holder. Not every fan can afford to go week in, week out if they're buying ballot tickets type of thing. Unfortunately, I had to give my ticket back to the club because obviously family commitments. I couldn't come for the Man U game, even though through the ballot I'd got a ticket. But I often look at all of the things. I mean, you've put a good thing in the chat there about the Premier ticket prices. So maybe we should start there before we go any further, because for me, that just gives you some idea of what's out there regarding prices. So let's throw this up on the screen first. So these are your cheapest match day tickets. Like I say, going to your most expensive. So I'm not going to go through all of them. But if you just come down to
the cheapest season tickets and
just coming down to Newcastle, 32.70, 662 for a season ticket holder, and the most expensive, 1,163.
And that's
So
that's the platinum club.
Platinum side, yeah. So again, as you can see, they're all there. We're not trying to hide anything. I was quite surprised the cheapest seats for Arsenal was £30. To be fair, that seems cheap.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say that must be outside. But like I say, Wolves £26 in today's pricing. That's so cheap. It's crazily cheap. But obviously, these are the figures. I'm not saying they're not, but and as you can see at the top, Prem tickets. So
the one that shocked me on there was Fulham. I've got the dearest season.
Yeah.
Well, the dearest season ticket at £3,000.
£3,000. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, for me, it was more the fact that all clubs are struggling now. Smaller clubs, and we talk a lot the Brentfords and the Bournemouths. Is it just over 11,000 capacity? These are the clubs that, like I say, are filled most of the time, and we saw that with that one that you sent me, where that lad did
stadium. Fullness.
Yeah, exactly. Percentage. And we come
capacity.
Yeah, we come top of that with, was it 99.6?
99.9
full. And that's what gets me, right? How can that be a fact, right? If there's so many tickets available on these third-party websites.
Well,
if we are 90...
I haven't tried to buy a ticket on those websites. Yeah. You have experience of somebody who did.
Yeah. My missus bought me one for Tottenham and paid through the nose, 180 quid when it comes to everything else.
I tell you what, when we come off here, I'm going to just try and buy 5 tickets together for the Man U game and see where I can get them.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking of doing was I'm gonna put on just so people are aware. Right? So again, I'll show it on screen just so you know I'm not cheating in any way. So as you can see here, it's the Man U game on 13th of April, 4:30 at Newcastle, St James's Park. I've put here that I want 5+ tickets, and it ranges from £79 to £499, and there's 39 results based on my wishes. Right now, this is what I thought when I first put this in, and I haven't tried to fiddle the numbers, was the 39 results, and I'm thinking, what are 5+ tickets? Are you joking me? So then you go down to the tickets, and like I say, you've got Dropbox here. So the cheapest one is in the Leazy's corner, as you can see, all highlighted there in the corner. Then I put onto the Dropbox, and as you can see, I can have up to 5 tickets in the Leazy's corner on the west side. Again, on the west corner, so I would imagine this is upper tier, level 7. In the west corner, in the same position, for £123, I could have 8 tickets. That's the amount that are available, right? And then you go on to the Gallagher stand, and again, I've gone down and had a look. Originally, it was on 5, but there's 21 tickets here available, and I can get now. So it's a single seats. I'm not saying that you're sitting together, but they're single seats, but they're 21 in total. Leesy's east corner now. That's linking up to Wynn's stand, where Wynn sits.
That's the east stand. That's my stand.
Yeah,
now.
That's your stand. So there's 5 tickets in that corner. Again, I'm not saying they're all sitting together, but that's 143 quid. Leesy stand, again, LV4.
Is it? Have they got seat numbers there as well?
It doesn't tell you the seat number, no.
Right.
It just says home area, Leesy stand, up to 4 tickets, central behind the goal look. And that's where, I was in the Gallagher end, very similar to where these seats are in the Gallagher end. And another one here, look, 22 tickets available. 1 adult and 1 under 17s. So you can,
so that's in the family enclosure, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. But if I was a Man U fan, this is what I'm saying. I could take 22 people into that area amongst all the families. Now, as you can see, if you come down now, the Leasy stand, Gallagher West stand, there's 6 tickets. Gallagher stand, there's 14 tickets if I want to go into this corner here for the Gallagher, with again 14 away fans. Obviously, then you go into the premium area. There's 8 tickets available in the East stand, just next to where you are, buddy. There's 6 tickets. In the Leasy stand, there's 6 tickets there. In the Gallagher stand again, in this V, there's the same 6 tickets I would imagine from before. And these are repeating now, and I don't understand, like, again, why they've jumped up in price now. Now, the only thing I can think of, before you were up in, block 7s, up in the top, into the gods, and these must be now more at pitch level, closer to that corner, because the price has gone up over 200 quid. And then you obviously, again, these are the away sections, so you have got an away section for the Man U fans. You can still get up to 5 tickets. It's a final offer for them. So,
or if you can imagine the scene, if I'm a season ticket holder, so I got my season ticket, and I'm debating whether or not to go to the match.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking, right, if I can get 200 quid for my ticket, I'll stay away.
Yeah.
So is there a facility for me to go onto that website and say, I can give you my ticket for 200 quid, which is where those prices are coming from?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Which is still wrong, by the way. Which is still absolutely wrong.
Absolutely. And like I said...
And that shit should not be beyond a wit of man. We've got one new computer whiz kid in from Manchester Airport who's taken over all of the IT and one thing and another. They should be able to. He should be able to set a team up. It wouldn't have to be a big team to monitor all of this. Buy a few tickets, which they're going to be able to sell officially on the club site anyway. Buy a few tickets, see which tickets they are, and identify the culprits.
Yeah, exactly. But like I said, all I wanted to do was show you. I was amazed when I looked at this, the amount of tickets across all of the ground. Now, like I say, these tickets obviously will disappear because people will take them. But for me, it was more the fact.
Just out of interest, if you go, can you go back to the start then and say you just want one ticket?
Yeah.
And say how many are available.
So 1 ticket, all locations, because again, there's 109. Look, so it's gone up.
So there's 109 tickets available.
If you want a single seat, if you want a single seat.
Yeah, well, that's got to be everything, then, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I said. So, like I said, what you've just done there is taken the 5 plus, because now look, it's down to 39. Yeah, so to have 5 people in that block, you've got 39 choices. But if you want 100, if you want 1 seat, you've got 100.
They must be replicated then, because that.
Yes, they are.
Because that 5 seats. If you multiply that 39 by 5, it's 175. What did I say?
So look, as you can see here, look,
which is more than the total number of single tickets that are available.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you look here, because I put down 5 plus seats. If I want to take 5 people with me in here, you can see where it is. It's I think it's L7E. For this one.
The only thing there, because there was a tick box, wasn't there, for sitting together?
Yes. So if you wanted to sit together, we can do it like so. If I go 5 plus seats, there's only 4.
Just go 5 seats sitting together.
Yeah, there you go. 5. It just gives you 5 plus. Sitting together, there's 4 results.
4 results. So that's only. Well, that to me sounds like.
So you've got one away section.
It sounds like 4 company allocations, because there's a lot of companies who buy, who historically have had a block of 10 tickets or whatever. But to me, that should be highly policed and put an end to. So, and then if they're going to do it properly, go with a ticketing partner, because obviously that way the club would envisage that they would get more money than they get simply for selling a season ticket. So they're entitled, I suppose, to try and maximise revenue. But when you looked at those single seats, it was 100 and something. And when you look at our average gate, you know, when they yell the crowd out, it's invariably 52,000 and anywhere between 52,000 dead and 52,250.
Yeah.
And 52,256 is the official maximum. So those 120 tickets are largely responsible, allied with the away allocation that doesn't get taken up.
No, exactly.
For us not having full capacity every single game.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, is the risk of getting a stadium, a brand new stadium of 70,000, are we at risk of still having only 65,000 available to actually get a ticket? Because the other 5,000 is going to be by a third party. Because it seems to me as if
for that.
Well, it seems to me now, especially the way Man City look as though they've gone about it, is whatever
they've expanded, haven't they? Just
that's right, yeah. But they seem to be getting more money from this third party than they do from the street value of a season ticket.
And that's assuming they've got a deal whereby the third party has to pay for the tickets, regardless of whether they sell them or not.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the case, that's not so bad, because it's then an incentive for you know. Now that I've seen this site that you've pointed out, I'm gonna have a look on the morning of the match.
Yeah, to see what's available
and see whether the prices are going up or are they coming down.
Yeah, well, the potentially if they
it
want to get rid of them.
If you go, but again, you say I don't see how the logistics of that would work. The way the tickets are now, when you get your electronic ticket, which the code changes on all the time.
Yeah.
So the logistics of being able to buy a ticket and then the ticket agency have to get whatever codes from the other vendor and transfer it to you, and all of the logistics. I mean, no doubt they've got clever blokes doing all of that, but just for to get that on your phone to get through the turnstile, which again is the important thing for me, because regardless of what's going on, how the tickets are arriving, you cannot get in the ground without a barcode.
No. Well, it was funny because, you know, I've just got on the site that my missus used just to see what was available for this game. And like yourself, I was absolutely aghast at the amount of tickets still available. And like I say, not only am I surprised, but I feel sorry for the everyday fan.
Yeah, me too.
That want to come to the ground. You know, that supports the club and have supported the club through all the bad crap that we've been through, you know, for years and years. Myself, giving a season ticket away because I just couldn't, I couldn't come anyway because of work.
The main people I feel sorry for are the 20-year season ticket holders who finally had enough.
Gave in. Yeah, like me.
I did. Under Ashley, and figured that the only way to get them out would be to boycott
altogether. Yeah, exactly.
So they did do, and now they are left out in the cold. Now the good times have arrived. I feel heartily sorry for all of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think it's risk and reward, mate, isn't it? Yeah. You know, that's the whole thing.
I could have been in the same boat because I did.
Yeah, well, like I say, when I gave mine up in 2011, it was, like I say, it was more for the fact that I was just wasting money. And I was never going to be able to get to games. And I felt guilty to think that I was taking somebody's seat that could have gone to the game. I mean, I wouldn't say it was filled very often during the Ashley era, but I mean, you know, that's how it felt to me.
Well, he ended up giving 10,000 away, didn't he?
Away, yeah, exactly. I never got an email, put it that way. And it's really weird for me because, like I say, I could not believe the amount of seats, and like I say, I have got this, I suppose, protection towards families, and as you just said, in the family enclosure where you want to feel safe, potentially you could have away fans next to you. Now, again, as you've seen, not always grouped together. You can get up to 5 tickets, but 5 people that are swinging arms and fists and everything else hit a few bystanders that aren't involved in any fracas. So for me, I just think this needs to be a little bit better policed. And I've seen
I'm more concerned about the policing
of the ticket
of the tickets. Penalising anybody who's flogging their season ticket for profit.
But are these? Yeah, see, for me, I don't know whether these are club tickets.
And by the way, I'm a super duper capitalist. So in theory, I should be saying, listen, if I bought something and I can sell it for more, I'm entitled to do that.
I'm entitled to it. Yeah, exactly.
But
that's mine.
I draw the line at football prices.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
mad.
When you look down those the cheapest match tickets, or even the most expensive match tickets, the most expensive match tickets at Fulham again, crazily enough, are £160. I wanted to see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden before he finally falls off the stage for the last time.
Yeah.
Because he has recently just fallen off the stage. And he does a concert in Madison Square Garden every month. The only bloke ever to have done it. I'm a big Billy Joel fan. And for me to go to see Billy Joel, that's one person. Okay, he's got a band and he's got lighting crew and all the bits to go with it. But the same way that the team has got physios and everything behind them.
Got
so to go
stuff.
And see one bloke is going to cost 400 quid. That's one superstar. We're going to see 22 superstars, really. And you're paying, the top price is 160 quid.
Yeah.
So I think football is brilliant value for money. I think it could be brought down, as I've said many, many times, by the Premier League taking the TV rights into their own hands instead of using a third party, which again, we're talking about third parties. They've got their money to make as well. So as soon as you bring in a third party, your chunk of the cake gets reduced. And
reduced.
If we were maximising the TV revenue that the Premier League generates, we could then afford. I actually predicted a time when you would get paid to go and watch the match.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if it was cheap enough to watch at home on the telly, lots and lots of people would do that if they could guarantee seeing every game. So you get your Newcastle United television season ticket, you see every game live, home and away, replays at your heart's content. And people would stop going to the stadium. But the product relies on atmosphere, so the prices would plummet for to get the crowds back into the stadiums.
Crazy.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, crazy. Right then, before we move on to the next news item, I'll let you do what's in the chat, because I've seen a couple in the chat.
I've been too busy talking.
Well, that's okay. There's a couple I've starred.
There's a correct win. Just social media idiots putting their weight on the Eddie Out opinion. This is going back to what I was saying about even when the Eddie Out brigade were rife on social media. I never heard a murmur in the stadium. Mercury Dame celebrates 4 months of membership. Well done. He was charged £440 for 2 tickets against Leicester. Interesting, wow. Mercury, were they in the Leicester end or the Newcastle end?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just on the tickets, so let's just...
No, the reason I asked that is because, again, you think home tickets are rare. Trying to get an away ticket officially through Newcastle, it's virtually impossible.
Can't. Yeah, you
because
can't
the loyalty points system... being the way it's been now for as long as it's been the way it is, means that it's just a self-perpetuating circle, because
Circle.
you can't gain additional points without going away.
Why? Yeah, exactly.
And you can't go away because there's no tickets. So all the people that have got all the points keep going away and away and away. But it's a well-known fact that a lot of them are passed on here, there, and everywhere. And if the 2 tickets you bought were official Newcastle away tickets, then those people should be brought to account.
Yeah, exactly. But don't forget, Win, the prices that you've just seen on the boards that I've put up there, there's an administration price to go on top of that. That's not what you pay, because this is where my missus screwed up. She saw the price to go and see Tottenham Hotspur, where I could have a weekend up in Newcastle for my birthday, and she went, "Oh, I'll have that," and it worked out at like 138 quid or whatever it was she paid. But on top of that, then, which wasn't in the disclosure, was the £48 administration fee to go on top of that.
And that's what the ticketing agency are getting. So somebody else was getting the 124.
Yeah, exactly.
And the ticketing agency was getting the 30%.
Getting their bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Hells is saying, my seat in Leeds stand you for seat 2 is always
a sale ticket.
A sale ticket, and 2 seats in front of me, side by side, also peer seats.
Yeah, there you go. So who's got these tickets? Because somebody must be a season ticket holder for this.
Sean, do us a favour. Just have a word with the next person who sits in seat 2 and ask them where they got it, and let we know, please. If you're saying that's every single week, just ask them which site they went on, etc., etc. Because I mean, I'm not generally known as a whistleblower, but on this I'm pretty passionate. And I said to you, if I forgot to get you, can't remember what your ticket was, because I would have reported that ticket to the club and said, how come I've had to pay 120 whatever for this ticket?
Yeah, when I went with Amrit and Neil to the game, I can't remember which game that was now. It was when we had the double header, 2 home games. It was the Bournemouth game, wasn't it? Because I did the narrating on the Wolves game, didn't I?
No, it was Bournemouth on the Wednesday and West Ham on the Saturday, wasn't it?
Well, I thought one was Wolves. Wasn't it Wolves?
We got beat on.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was Wolves and Bournemouth, because we got hammered by Bournemouth. That was when he scored a hat-trick against us, wasn't it, Kluivert's? I was sat next to this guy. Again, we had the 3 seats, and this guy said, "Oh, another new face," and I was like, "Oh, are you all right?" And he was like, "You're not a Newcastle fan," because obviously I talk the way I do with my lingo, and I went, "Yeah, I am." And he was like, "Well, you've never been here before," and I went, "Yes, I have. I used to be a season ticket holder in the Gallagher many moons ago." I said, "But times now, again, distance travelling and family and work." I says, I have to pick and choose what games I come to now, and I have to come through the ballot. And he was like, "I'm sick to death. Sick," he said, "of seeing different people on these seats." And he says, "And the size of you," he says, "you need 2 seats." I just think he was a little bit miffed because I'm a big lad. And he wasn't happy actually squash. I mean, to be fair, he was probably around about 6 down, wringing wet. Bless him. But he wasn't happy.
You just want to be careful I don't sit on your body, lad.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask him to move over, but he was already sitting on his other half lap. But I mean, there's always going to be certain individuals that just aren't happy. And like I say, some people, and I'm not going to say, everybody, but some people could have taken offence to what he said to me. I mean, I just laughed it off as a bit of banter. But I mean, some people could have, because obviously I didn't know this guy, could have took a right, look at him and gone, "Hey, I'm not having none of that." Smack. You know what I mean? But it is one of them. Carlton is saying 3-0 Newcastle against Man U. There's going to be a lot of positives coming out of this now.
And why shouldn't there be?
Yeah, absolutely. Right then, let's have a quick look at some of the top stories flying around there. Andy Carroll and Fabian Schär aim a dig at former Newcastle manager Steve Bruce, according to TalkSport. Don't know whether you've seen this one.
I haven't, but
just having a quick
surprise.
Yeah, just having. Oh, it's not going to open for me now. Oh, that's typical. No, here you go. Andy Carroll and Fabian Schär on Instagram swipe at former Newcastle manager. Engaged in a cheeky dig towards Steve Bruce. Bruce was charged of the Magpies 19 to 21, was the subject of defender Schär's swipe with lips are sealed emoji after Carroll's quip with what was benched by a previous manager. So obviously Fabian Schär obviously didn't get many minutes under Steve Bruce.
Steve Bruce didn't rate him.
No, and obviously Andy Carroll has come out and took a swipe. Another 2 goals for Bordeaux from Andy Carroll the weekend. Doing well in that lower tier at the minute, at the ripe old age. I think, what is he, 34, 35 now?
Maybe he's older even.
Yeah. But yeah, so Andy Carroll took a swipe and Fabian Schär just pursed lips. Was quite funny on that one. And the next one...
89, 36.
Yeah, 36. Wow. Coming out, I mean, like I say, there's loads of different stories coming out, and according, what site is this one? Something to do with Blackburn. Sponsorship opportunities available for Newcastle game. So obviously they're now asking everybody out there that it's the women's game, I believe it is, where they looking for sponsors coming forward. I mean, how bad is this now where, clubs are touting for business out in the open wide?
Well, no, but I think that's good.
It
shows that our commercial department is actually doing something.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Trying to get revenue into the club. Good on them, I see.
There's obviously a lot of banter about the academy as well when it comes to obviously squad depth and how reveals 11-goal teenager impressing in training and hints at his a possible position change. When it comes to depth, competition for places at Newcastle squad are arguably the toughest it's been in years. I don't know about that, to be fair. Whether it's trying to get into a place at the packed heart of midfield, vying with Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento at fullback, the burgeoning young talent breaking through the ranks at the moment is something to behold. And it looks like Eddie Howe has penciled in a particular academy star to shine in the near future, having already featured in some senior matchday squads this season.
That's obviously Sean Neves, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The lad, like I say, just seems a really bright young lad coming through, and when you look at what's going on, and is there? We talked about it the other day, didn't we? Is there a question mark now on whether Kowal should be part of the squad with his current performance? Well, is it about time he gave?
He is certainly in form, but whether under 21 form can transform into Premier League form is a big if.
Yeah. Coming on to the news from yesterday, because we obviously heard...
I think I remember you saying a bit since, the gulf between the two is just stratospheric.
It is.
And so to have any chance of bridging that gap, you really need to be performing at super duper brilliant levels at under 20. You should be head and shoulders above everything that's on the pitch. I remember years ago seeing when Gaza had been injured, and he played a game for the under 21s or the under 18s. It would have been then, I think. And it was literally, even though he was still only 18 or something, it was literally he was man among boys, you know. He just played the full team. He was just shouting, "Give us the ball," and he was just beating, you know, everybody out of sight and slamming the ball in the back of the net or putting it on a plate for somebody. You could just see the difference in class between him and everything else that was on the pitch. And these were all allegedly top of the tree at the time for young'uns.
Yeah.
It was, and unless you're doing something like that, and yes, the numbers are good for Kuol, but Ari's performances showing that I can't honestly say because I haven't seen them, but
he's playing well. But and you're absolutely right. You know, for players to stand out, they have to be head and shoulders above everybody else on the field at their level. You know what I mean? And there's got to be that quality. And, I mean, I've just seen to kind of phrase in there about Shahar being involved in the senior squad as well. Again, a young lad that seems very competent in his ability. And obviously, he's now an international player again at his age group. And I think what I love, and I've said it previously, is the fact that Dermot now that's come in, he seems to have changed the mentality a little bit regarding, again, the ages. If you're good enough, you're old enough type of situation. We've got a lot of 15, 16-year-old kids now playing at under 21s. And being involved at a higher level, getting them ready for that move up to senior football. And I think that can only benefit them. And I think, like I say, there is a couple of young stars. Ferreira's, I think, is a very promising young lad that I think could go far, as an attacking midfielder. He carries the ball so well. But again, to ask that much of him at 15, you saw that lad at Leicester. That Munga, he looks a decent, promising youngster. There are these shining lights out there. If you're willing to go and literally give them an opportunity, and like I say, the biggest criticism I have of Eddie is sometimes I think he protects them a bit too much for me. I think sometimes, again, when times are hard,
it's his job that's on the line, not yours.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. When times are hard, sometimes your hands are tied, and you have to go down that line.
This is, effectively that's the only reason Louis Miley emerged as he did was because of the injury crisis.
Yeah,
and if he hadn't been, having said that, since he's come in, everybody raves about him because he's going to be the new great thing. But to me, Louis Miley's performances haven't been that great, They've been okay, they've been perfectly acceptable, but not the levels that everybody wants to rave about them when he's been on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to agree to disagree on that one, because you're right. Certain positions, he's like our natural right foot has disappeared on the right wing. And there's something about positions that sometimes switches a switch somewhere in the brain to say that, I can't perform here. We see it with Anthony Gordon. We see it with Harvey Barnes out on the right wing when they're switched out there. Miley, when he switches to that left centre position, as Sean Longstaff does, I don't know what it is. Every time they play left midfield, they go missing. There's something not quite right. And yet, when he plays for England in a similar inside left role, he plays well. Again, at his age group. And I think the difference is, when you're wanting the ball on your right foot, sometimes on the left, you have to use a little bit more physical character. And I just think he doesn't carry himself, even though he's bulked out a lot. I think he just needs a little bit of nastiness inside him to actually carry that left centre position as good as he does on the right-hand side, where he looks more accomplished and he has the time to do something with the ball. But going on to what I was just saying regarding last night's results, obviously we didn't kick a ball in anger, but the result states now that we are guaranteed that 5th spot in the Champions League. And regarding
that one win did it.
Yeah. Thanks to the seismic result in North London last night, the Premier League have been officially awarded an extra place in next season's UEFA Champions League. The two nations, the UEFA clubs' coefficient rankings, who is currently England and Spain, are handed an extra place, and Arsenal's 3-0 win over Madrid on Tuesday night meant England cannot be caught by Italy in third, no matter what happens in the final stages of the three major competitions.
That's right.
It's been on the cards for months, but this was the final. Confirms that the top five in the Premier League will all book a place in that Champions League spot. Now,
and then if Arsenal or Villa win the Champions League, we'll get 6 teams in. And if Man United win the Europa League, we'll get, or Tottenham, we'll get 7 teams in.
Yeah. But I didn't realise.
And then if Villa, Forest, or City win the FA Cup, the next 2 would go into the Europa League. And if Chelsea win the conference and qualify, therefore, for the Europa Cup automatically, unless they're already in the Champions League, we'll then get 2 teams in the conference. So the top 11, or even a team outside the top 11 in Tottenham or Man United, could all be in Europe next season.
I was wondering because I was reading the Chronicle, right? And the Chronicle have put out some figures, and I was scratching my head whether these were right or wrong. And obviously, these are doing exactly the same as what everybody else is talking about with Arsenal's victory. It gets that 5th spot regarding the coefficients. But then it comes down to say that teams who qualify for the group stages of the Champions League are guaranteed a 15.7 million jackpot, which would boost Newcastle's PSR. And things could get even better for the Premier League if Tottenham Hotspur or Man U win the Europa League, as it would see 6 teams in the Champions League, as you've just said. But then when I come down, it goes to the full price funding, right? Now, I don't know whether this is correct or wrong. So if you win it, you get 21.5 million. Runners-up get 15.9 million. Semi-finals, 12.9 million. Quarter-finals, 10.7 million. And the round of 16, which is where we finished, 9.4 million. Now, that seems low for me. I thought it was much higher.
Yeah, well, that's just the prize pot.
That's the prize pot, yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you've got all your television rates and
everything else. So that's probably where I'm reading it wrong. Yeah. Because to me, I thought I was reading that and I'm thinking, never. That can't be right.
That's the prize pot. That prize pot is basically paid. The total prize pot is paid for by the advertisers. You know, when you see all of the, who was it, McDonald's, Mercedes-Benz, shows how effective that advertising is. I can't even
I'm going to say.
But they pay that, whatever it is, 140 million total prize pot, which is then divvied out the way you've just said.
Right.
On top of that, you've got all of your television rates and you've got all of your stadium hosting rates.
I got you.
But nonetheless, the total price, I think the last time I looked, it was something like the total Champions League prize pot's 140 million. The winners of the FIFA club competition, which is what Man City are going away for, is 125 million. That's just for the winners of that trophy.
Crazy, isn't it?
So, you know, that they are pushing this World Club thing. Is that going to be the next step in the FIFA line and pockets saga? Because if they could have, right, whoever wins that would have to be fewer fixtures, obviously, with all the travelling involved. But if they could have an annual knockout competition where, let's say, the winners and the runners up in the Champions League go into it, the winner of the Copa America go into, not Copa America, the South American club competition. Can't remember what it's called now.
No, I have no idea.
And the Asian Cup and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cracking headlines as we speak, but the one that caught, well, I say the one that caught me eye, there's a few. But just in case people aren't aware, we've now been linked with the Benfica striker Vangelis Pavlidis, but obviously we've got Chelsea and
good singer.
Yeah, striker Vangelis Pavlidis. I mean, he has £100 million release clause. €100 million release clause. I don't know. I keep looking at this and I'm thinking, no way. He scored 14 goals for Benfica this season.
100 million release clause.
Euros. Yeah. I mean, I just can't see it, if I'm honest. The Greek international Benfica striker scored 24 goals in 46 games in all competitions and also provided 10 assists. He has a contract until 29. Having only arrived from AZ Almar for a €20 million deal in the summer. So, 20 million they got him for now because he scored a few goals. GA is good. They've got a €100 million release clause. I just can't see it. I really can't see it. But there you go. That's that one. And then they go into an alternative, if you like, because obviously we all know that Gay was on the cards. I'm going to cough. Excuse me. But now all of a sudden, and this is another one that I can't understand, right? We're now looking at another left-footed centre-back, right? Even though we've still got Dan Burn and we've got
Fabian
Botman to come back in.
Sven Botman.
We're looking at doing this Medina. He's an Argentinian international, Facundo Medina, who plays for Lens. Apparently, being heavily linked towards us. Left-footed centre back who's deemed Premier League ready. And obviously, for me, why would you? I mean, Medina's also attracted interest from Crystal Palace and Manchester United in recent times. The former River Plate youngster has a price tag of around 24 million. But I don't know. I can't understand why, as we've just got rid of a left-footed centre back because he couldn't get in the side, why we would be, even looking at this guy. And according to reports, and again, everybody in the chat on our group chat this morning has already said that, but apparently Tyler Dibbling has now had his price tag reduced to around about 35 million.
I'm reading 35 and I'm reading 60. But
60, exactly.
What that does is, if you remember the rubbish that was coming out of Brentford, which was saying if Tyler Dibling's worth 100,000, we want 110,000 for him.
From Mbeumo. Yeah, exactly.
So you want 10,000 more than Mbeumo, than Dibbling. Fair enough. So Dibling's now 35 million. We'll give you 45 for Mbeumo.
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious, isn't it? And there's obviously some talk about Liam Delap again because there's a transfer clause twist regarding his contract. Newcastle United and Manchester United face off against each other on the weekend. As we know, the two sides are also looking to add a striker and both having an interest in Delap. So Man United, meanwhile, face a huge rebuilding job under Ruben Amorim after he come in with Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee, the two men tasked to leading the line, notched 6 goals between them. So he's obviously looking, but in contrast, Delap scored 12 goals in 30 top flight appearances this term. I don't think that's a bad return for a team not doing so great in the Premier League. And I think he could do a job for us. Again, we keep on saying it's all right buying strikers, and we talked about Asula. Is he ready? Blah blah blah. What's he going to bring to the club? if we had somebody like him on the bench, not only could you play him the odd game from the start because you know he can score goals, bringing somebody like him in to replace Isak halfway through a game continues that chance of us going on to score more goals. Now, what I've seen so far, even with Wilson, is as soon as Isak goes off the park, the chances of us scoring deplete massively. And like I say, there's an issue regarding, and it goes on to say that there's a 40 million release clause inserted into his contract. Man City are also believed to have a buyback clause and may, if according to certain reports, what they're saying is they may ask for what they paid for him originally or what they sold him for originally, because that's part of the buyback clause, to bring him back to Man City, because at this present moment in time, they are depleted up front. So Delap may not have a choice. He may be going back to his former club. So it's an interesting one, that. And like I say, I think Delap has a bright future at the right club. I don't think Ipswich suits. Well, it certainly suited him to a degree, because he's gone and got the goals that he's got. Yeah. But can you imagine him in a decent lineup when he's going to get the supply? He could be banging in 20 goals a season for you.
Yeah, fingers crossed for somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it'll be us. I don't think it'll come anywhere to play a guaranteed second fiddle.
No, I think, like I say, with him.
Time out in the chat. We've got Stephen Hawke and Brusky going hammering tongues about Lewis Miley. It's all a matter of opinion, folks. It's all a matter of opinions.
Yeah, keep it quick, keep it nice.
Keep it nice. Play nice, boys. Play nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, everybody has an opinion on players.
Of course, that's what it's
football's all about. We
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for differences of opinion.
Exactly.
Not exactly at all.
Isak didn't score at Leicester. No, exactly. Isak didn't score at Leicester. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. It's like a bloody pantomime. Listen, no player has great games the entire season. I've never known a player go through an entire season and be great all the time. But, what you can say is, when you've got a player like we've got, Isak, who bangs in 20-plus goals back-to-back seasons, they don't come around very often. And as much as he has some poor outings, he's always in front of goal. And sometimes you just need that at times. I mean, that goal, I always look at that Murphy header down and that half volley strike. He took that against Arsenal, so cool, and it just broke the camel's back, didn't it? You know what I mean? And I think that was, for me, against Liverpool. Liverpool, not Arsenal. Liverpool. And it's just them moments of pure brilliance that you look back and go, wow, that's some finish, because under pressure as well in a cup final. It's great. Well, that's it from me. Is there anything that you want to add, sir? I know you're a busy man because you've just had a new boiler and everything. Bit of a heavy week.
Rearrange the furniture again now.
Yeah, exactly, because it's all over the place. When you've had new boilers fitted, your house just becomes a little bit of a clutter.
Building site.
Thank you, everybody in the chat that's watching. Like I say, keep it easy, guys, when you're going at each other. I haven't been looking at the chat because I've been reading the papers. So apologies for not highlighting anything. Is there anything in the chat before we go?
Just 35 million for Dublin is overpaying, in my opinion. I don't know. I'm not super convinced by Dublin, to be fair.
No, he seems a little bit top heavy for me. He's a little bit like gangly to be.
Liverpool Echo confident they are getting Isak. Of course they are.
Of course they are. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I say, we are going to be linked, and our players are going to be linked to everybody. I mean, I've read this morning about Tonali.
As I've said now, for 3 transfer windows straight, we do not want. Oh, in fact, somebody's just beat me to it there. Where did I just see it there? Niall's in the chat. Stay away from another project player. Dibbling could be a year before he's ready. And I agree. This transfer window, if we seriously mean business, we've got to buy the finished article. Now, be that a Prem-proven finished article or a finished article from a league somewhere else, we need players who can come in and be in that first team and not reduce the quality.
Yeah.
And if we're talking a right wing, for example, they've got to be good enough to be an improvement on what Murphy has given us this season. And that is a lot, by the way.
Yeah. And just to finish, because like I say, I read this earlier on, it did make me laugh a little bit, but the headlines were Newcastle United star Sandro Tonali plans to leave, confirming agents' comments. Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali wants to return to Italy, following his Toons technician's agent confirming his ambitions. When you purchase through links at our site, we are that's just their affiliate. Newcastle United is edging closer to a return to Italy, according to reports in Italy, following his agent Mariano Macaca's past comments. But after returning from his gambling ban and slotting wonderfully into the Magpies midfield, with the talented number 6 moving to pastures new this summer, or does he still have plenty of glory years ahead of him at St James's Park? That's the question. I mean, obviously, there's going to be rumours from everybody. And like I say, we are going to be linked to players.
Bring them on. Bring them all on. Because as long as we're getting linked, as long as other massive clubs are being linked with our players, it means that the players we've got
are doing a job.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah. And Jacob Murphy.
We don't need the money, thank you very much.
Yeah, Jacob Murphy apparently is close to beating Mo Salah's record. I don't know. I haven't read that.
I don't know
yet,
which record that would be.
I'm going to say, yeah. Jacob Murphy's season continues to go from strength to strength as the winger flourishes on the right side of Newcastle's attack. A brace at the King Power Stadium on Monday evening, with both strikes coming inside 11 minutes, helped the Magpies to continue their Champions League charge while adding to the winger's impressive tally. With a combined 16 goals and assists to his name this season, Murphy is sharing the limelight with some serious talent, including his United counterpart Isak, Liverpool superstar Salah. 14 of those Newcastle involvements have come since December. I didn't realise that. With only the aforementioned duo ranking higher. So 19 Isak, but he's got some way to go to beat Salah.
Since
28.
So in 2025.
Yeah. So he's not done bad in 25, I must admit.
Yeah, and let's hope it continues.
Yeah, but he's nowhere. I mean, again, these are headlines. You know what I mean? Mo Salah's on 28. He's on 14. You're nearly breaking Mo Salah's record. No, you're not. Anyway, thank you one and all for, again, joining us today. It's like I say, it's been lovely. I hope you enjoyed the show, as always. If you can, have we got anything later on? You're away, aren't you? So now we're going to be nothing.
There's extra time at 12 o'clock.
There's 12 o'clock, midnight for anybody that can't sleep. With the lads across the pond, having a chat, talking everything Newcastle. And
Josh is back tonight, I believe. So we haven't heard his views since the cup final.
Absolutely. So Josh, Ben, and Ian potentially. I don't know who it is tonight.
Ian probably, yeah.
Yeah. So have a look for that one if you're up and around. We're back on tomorrow, and we're going to be doing. Is it the preview tomorrow? Are we doing the preview of the Man U game? Because they come thick and fast, don't they? Because you've got quiz night Fridays.
It will be.
Yeah, we'll be doing something. We'll be doing something.
The quiz is back on Friday, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do something.
We'll have some fun then. Bring your beer.
Yeah. Bring the beer. Yeah, indeed. So again, thanks one and all in the chat, and thank you, Win, for your my right hand man for doing all the bits and pieces. And we'll see you on the next one. But until then,
it's goodbye from him,
and it's a goodbye from him.
And it's how are the lads,
lassies and bairns. See you on the next one.
Ta-ra.